What's inside me?
There's a monster in your chest. And he put an alien inside of you. It's a really nasty one. And in a few hours, it's gonna burst its way through your rib cage. And you're gonna die.
The alien, or xenomorph as it's known, is one of the most horrifying creatures in science fiction. Every stage in its evolution is unique, grotesque, and terrifying in its own way. I've already covered the ovomorph, or the alien egg, and its facehugger lying in wait. Now it's time for us to take a look at the chestburster. The chestburster is the third stage of the xenomorph XX121 as known by Weyland-Yutani. The embryo itself has had some different explanations from within the alien's universe. At first it was thought that the embryo was simply that, a young version of an alien chestburster. This embryo would then grow inside the host and combine some of its host DNA with its own in order to grow the alien. This would explain how some aliens are bipedal and some are quadrupeds. However, we've also learned some other information from within the alien's universe that states that the embryo is in fact a bundle of specifically tailored cancers that rearrange the host cells in order to have the host grow the chestburster from its own genetic materials. I would have to say that after looking at both descriptions of how the chestburster is grown inside its host, I think it's a combination of the two. To me, it makes sense that there would be an embryo combined with the tailored cancerous growth. If you want to take the prequels into account here, one can only wonder if the tailored cancerous growth within the embryo is actually some form of the black goo accelerant. I will note that a lot of people didn't like the tumorous growth method, as they stated that this idea came from the Aliens Colonial Marines video game, and a lot of people don't like that game being in canon with the movies. The only issue here being is that this idea was actually around way before the game, as it was mentioned in Aliens magazine back in 1993. During implantation, the facehugger will add an immunosuppressive chemical to protect the burster from its host's natural defense system. The gestation period of the young alien can be inconsistent, but this can easily be explained as almost all aliens have differences depending on what was their parents and or hosts. We've seen everything from a quick 1-hour gestation time frame all the way up to a full day. It's been stated that if the host has physical defects, that this can slow down the gestation period, as seen with Purvis in Alien 3 due to his thyroid deficiency. Eventually, this little demon has to find a way out of the host. According to the Weyland-Yutani report, it's theorized that the young alien will secrete an enzyme that will begin to break down and weaken the bone and surrounding tissues of the chest cavity in order to make an easy escape for the alien. Normally, there is not much pain for the host while carrying the chestburster beyond a sore throat, some nausea, and a sense of hunger. Unfortunately, once the young alien attempts to break through the rib cage, the host then feels extreme amounts of pain and usually dies within moments of the event. Once free, the chestburster begins an extremely rapid growth spurt due to the nutrients that it had absorbed from the host. In the first Alien film, the beast was able to reach adulthood within hours of its birth from Cain. The creature will shed its skin many times during this rapid growth cycle, and this is also where we see the alien slowly change from a cream or brownish color to the darker, more natural coloring. The idea of the chestburster came from the original script writer for Alien, Dan O'Bannon. It's been noted by Dan that while writing the original script, that the story didn't have enough punch to it. Dan thought he needed something to shock the viewers and give the studios a reason to produce what was basically the old dark house / horror movie in space. He was influenced for the idea of the chestburster after seeing the work of parasitic wasps and how they would lay eggs inside a host. On top of this, he was also plagued with Crohn's disease, which caused him so much stomach pains that sometimes he could imagine that there was a creature inside him trying to get out. The burster was first designed by H.R. Giger. Even though almost everything H.R. did for the designs on the Alien set was pure gold, the first concept was anything but. People on the set thought that it looked like a featherless chicken with fangs. Not only was the look not there yet, but the size of the creature was too large to exist in the chest cavity of the host. Ridley Scott knew that Giger already had too much on his plate, as he was already designing the full-grown alien, the eggs, as well as the planet's surface, so he hired Roger Dickon to help create both the facehugger and the chestburster. Ridley was then quoted as saying this about the early design process of the chestburster. "We worked for weeks on the baby. I knew I didn't want something with bumps and warts and claws. You know, I find that most horror films have never really frightened me, and I tend to not be convinced by a lot of the science fiction films specifically because of the effects. So I knew that this had to be good, this baby. We decided that the big chap, in embryo form, would have a head either tilted down or tilted back. We tilted it back because it seemed more obscene that way, more reptilian, more phallic. You can see here in this later stage prototype of the chestburster that the shape was starting to come around, yet the face was still different than what we're used to, with it resembling the actual inner jaw of the full-grown alien. After that, we finally come to the finished product, looking much sleeker than its earlier designs. You can even notice the small knobs on the side where arm growth was beginning. For the sequel Aliens, the alien infants did have arms, but we saw a return to the original design in Resurrection. No burster has been successfully removed without killing its host in any of the Alien movies. It's been said that even if you did remove a chestburster from its host and they were able to survive, that host would then grow tumors throughout the body and die shortly after. We do, however, have examples of successful removals in the extended universe, such as Aliens Labyrinth comic and the Aliens Defiance comics. We also see it done successfully in the 2010 AVP game as well. There are a few variants on the chestburster in the Alien universe. First off, we've seen queen chestbursters. They normally have a longer gestation period. They're also normally born with all 4 of their arms, as well as a somewhat developed head crest. Next, if we look at the AVP movies, we then notice that the Pred alien was able to inject multiple bursters into a host. In this scene, the host was pregnant, and it appeared that the bursters actually went into the host's womb instead of into her chest cavity, even feeding on her baby. That's why these are more commonly known as belly bursters instead of chest bursters. In Alien Covenant, we get to see an infant alien burst free of its host, yet it's already looking like a full-grown xenomorph, only much smaller. This is easily explained as these aliens are prototypes for the alien we know from the later films. We see something like this in Alien 3, where the runner alien is coming out as a similarly grown yet small form. In the assembly cut for Alien 3, it's noted that this chestburster may have had a harder time exiting its host, resulting in a more grown creature when it's finally able to exit. Lastly, there are the neomorph bloodbursters from the prequels, but we'll cover that in another video. The original chestburster scene works so well on camera. Ridley had kept the design of the chestburster secret from the cast beyond Kane, and the scene was shot without the actors knowing what was going to happen. When the bloodspout hits Veronica Cartwright, she was in real terror and passed out and fell backwards. Even Yaphet Kotto's wife said that after doing that scene, he'd go to his room every night and not talk to anyone. It was the addition of this chestburster scene into the script that grabbed the attention of Brandywine and Fox. So if you're enjoying anything from the Alien franchise, thank the chestburster. And that's it for the Alien Infant. If you guys liked the video, if you could leave a like, it helps out the channel so much. And if you haven't subscribed yet, why not subscribe for all the future Aliens goodness to come? Take care, and I hope to see you next time.